Welcome back to Restorative Escapes, the space where healing meets reflection, history meets humanity, and where we pause long enough to honor the stories that shape us. I'm your host, Angola, and today's episode is one of gratitude, remembrance, and deep reflection. As the United States observes Military Appreciation Month during May, many Americans see flags waving, ceremonies taking place, and tributes appearing online and in communities across the country. But behind those moments are generations of sacrifice, resilience, courage, grief, and service. Tonight we'll explore the significance of Military Appreciation Month, Armed Forces Day, and Memorial Day. What they mean, how they began, and why they still matter today. We'll journey through history, honor those who served and sacrificed, and reflect on families who continue waiting for loved ones still missing in action, and recognize the men and women currently serving around the world. And at the end of this episode, I'll guide you through a restorative meditation dedicated to every soul touched by military service. So wherever you are, take a breath, settle in, and let's begin. Military Appreciation Month was officially designated by Congress in 1999 to ensure that Americans intentionally pause to recognize military service and sacrifice. Within this single month are several important observances. Loyalty Day on May 1st, Military Spouse Appreciation Day, Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, and often special recognitions for veterans and military families. This month reminds us that service is not experienced only by the individual in uniform. It's carried by spouses, children, parents, communities, and generations. For many military families, service means birthdays missed, holidays postponed, constant relocation, long deployments, sleepless nights, and for some, devastating loss. Military Appreciation Month asks Americans to remember all of that, not only the victories, but the human cost. Now let's talk about Armed Forces Day. Every year in the third Saturday in May, the United States celebrates Armed Forces Day. Unlike Veterans Day, which honors everyone who has served, or Memorial Day, which honors those who died in service, Armed Forces Day specifically recognizes those currently serving in the military. The day was established in 1949 after the unification of the military branches under the Department of Defense. Before that, separate Army, Navy, and Air Force days existed independently. But after World War II, America entered a new era. The military became more unified, more modernized, and more interconnected. Secretary of Defense Lewis Johnson announced the creation of Armed Forces Day to replace the individual service branch celebrations. And in 1950, the first Armed Forces Day was observed with the theme Teamed for Defense. That phrase reflected the reality of a changing world after World War II, a world entering the tensions of the Cold War, nuclear uncertainty, and the global alliances. But Armed Forces Day also became something deeply personal. It gave Americans a chance to recognize active duty service members, not just as warriors, but as people. People with families, dreams, fears, responsibilities, and sacrifices most civilians may never fully understand. Today, Armed Forces Day honors members of the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Coast Guard, and Space Force. It's a day for gratitude, visibility, and a reminder that service continues every single day, often quietly and without recognition. Now let's move into Memorial Day, perhaps one of the most emotionally significant observances in American history. Memorial Day is often associated with the beginning of summer, but its true meaning runs much deeper. Originally called Decoration Day, Memorial Day began after the Civil War, a conflict that claimed more American lives than any war before it. Communities across the country began decorating the graves of fallen soldiers with flowers. The grief was immense. Families had lost fathers, sons, brothers, husbands, and neighbors. The nation itself was wounded. In 1868, General John A. Logan officially called for a National Day of Remembrance for those who died in military service. Over time, Memorial Day expanded to honor all American military personnel who died in every conflict. And behind every name etched into stone, every folded flag, every military cemetery, there is a story, a life interrupted, dreams unfinished, loved ones left behind. Memorial Day is not about glorifying war. It is about remembering humanity. It asks us to pause long enough to understand that freedom has always carried sacrifice. Now let's go into the major conflicts that shaped American service. To understand why these observances matter, we also have to understand the conflicts that have shaped generations of military service. The American Revolution established the nation itself. The Civil War tested whether the nation could survive division. World War I introduced mechanized warfare on an unimaginable scale. World War II changed the world forever, from Pearl Harbor to Normandy to the Pacific Theater. Millions served. Hundreds of thousands never came home. Then came Korea, often called the Forgotten War. Vietnam, one of the most painful and divisive chapters in American military history. The Gulf War, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And today, American service members continue operating around the world in conflict zones, peacekeeping missions, intelligence operations, humanitarian assistance, and global security efforts. Some return home carrying invisible wounds, such as PTSD, moral injury, survivor's guilt, trauma, and loss. And many veterans spend years trying to reconnect with ordinary life after extraordinary experiences. That's why military appreciation cannot stop at symbolic gestures. Support matters, and mental health care matters. Housing matters, community matters, listening matters. Because honoring service means caring for people long after the uniform comes off. Now let's think about those still missing in action. There's another group we must honor tonight, those still missing in action. The MIA designation represents uncertainty, suspended in time. For families of missing service members, there is often no final goodbye and no closure. Only waiting, hope mixed with grief. Across wars and conflicts, thousands of Americans were listed as prisoners of war or missing in action. And while many have since been accounted for, others remain missing to this day. Their absence echoes through generations, and children become adults still waiting for answers. Spouses grow old holding on to hope, and parents passed away never knowing what happened to their sons or daughters. The POW MIA flag serves as a solemn reminder. You are not forgotten, and perhaps that message matters beyond military history. To remember someone is to keep their humanity alive. Sometimes when people think about the military, they picture uniforms, ceremonies, medals, or combat. But military life is also deeply human. It's a mother holding back tears during deployment. It's a child counting days until a parent returns home. It's a service member trying to sleep after experiencing combat. It's friendships formed under impossible conditions. It's sacrifice that often goes unseen. And it's resilience. Extraordinary resilience. Many veterans continue serving their communities long after military service ends, as teachers, nurses, firefighters, counselors, mentors, and leaders. Service changes people, and for many, that spirit of service never leaves. Now let's transition to a guided meditation. As we prepare to close today's episode, I want to invite you into a moment of stillness. This meditation is dedicated to those who served, those who sacrificed, and those still missing. Those currently serving and the families who carry both pride and pain. If you're able, find a comfortable position. Allow your shoulders to soften. Relax your jaw and gently close your eyes. This meditation is called Honoring the Sacred Cost of Service. Take a slow breath in and slowly exhale. Again, inhale, peace. Exhale, tension. Allow yourself to arrive fully in this moment. Tonight we honor courage, not the kind found only in battle, but the courage it takes to serve, to sacrifice, to endure, and to continue. Picture now a calm horizon at sunrise, golden light stretching across still water, a quiet field, flags moving gently in the breeze. Imagine every soul who has served surrounded by that light, those who returned home and those who never made it back, those whose names are known and those history almost forgot. Take a breath for them. Now think of the families. The waiting, the uncertainty, the reunions, the empty chairs, and the folded flags. The lifelong memories carried in silence. Breathe compassion into those spaces. And now bring awareness to those currently serving around the world. Some far from home tonight, some standing watch while others sleep, some carrying burdens they cannot fully explain. May they feel protected, may they feel supported, and may they return safely. And for those still missing in action, may their memory remain alive. May their families know they are not forgotten. May peace eventually find every searching heart. Now place one hand over your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Steady, present, alive. Let gratitude rise gently within you. Not performative gratitude, not symbolic gratitude, but human gratitude. For sacrifice, for resilience, for service, and for peace. Take one final deep breath in and exhale slowly. And as you return to the present moment, carry this remembrance with you, because honoring others is also an act of humanity. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Restorative Escapes. If today's reflection moved you, I encourage you to reach out to a veteran, military family, or active service member in your community and simply say, thank you. I see you. You are here. Until next time, protect your peace. Honor humanity and continue creating restorative spaces for yourself and others. I'm Angola, and good night.